Welcome to today's video. We are going to be changing the transmission fluid on a 2013 Honda Odyssey. Now the reason we're changing it is because the customer complained that there was a rough shift every morning and the check engine light would come on every so often for a stuck solenoid. So I've had this happen in Hondas in the past, in CRVs and Odysseys. And usually when you get a stuck solenoid, it's because your old fluid isn't as viscous or lubricating enough as a new fluid would be. So we're going to go ahead and do a drain and fill. It's only going to take 3 quarts and it's fairly simple, but it's actually going to help a ton with the drivability, and it should save your transmission or at least extend the life. So for this job, we're going to need 3.5 quarts or 3.3 liters of fuel-efficient ATF. We're using Amsoil Signature Series, which I've had the best luck with. You'll need a 3/8 ratchet, a 17mm socket, about 6 inches of 3/8 extensions, ramps, a drain pan, lots of rags, and a long funnel. Let's begin. I'm going to show you 2 methods how to fill your transmission. So the first is right underneath all these hoses. It's the ATF fill plug, the official spot. It's in a very difficult to reach place, but it is the preferred method by Honda. Second spot you could fill the transmission from is the dipstick hole. This is a clip from the end of the video when I'm checking the fluid, and then I realized, shoot, this would have been a lot easier and faster to fill the transmission through instead of that ATF plug. When you go underneath the vehicle on the driver's side, you're going to see this 3/8 square bolt. Now you put your 3/8 ratchet and remove that. Now this is me getting the ATF plug. It's a pain in the butt. It's a 17mm. It took a lot of effort to get the socket on, then the extension, and it's very tight as this is the first time it's been done in 200,000 kilometers. So this is a real pain, and I think I definitely recommend you go through the dipstick tube instead of this. This is just another angle of what you're dealing with. These hoses with coolant in them are super grippy and in the way, and it's just an absolute pain. But once you get it off, you will be able to see inside. So this is the ATF plug, again 17mm head, and it's fairly big, which is why it's so hard to get off, I think. And there's no magnet on the fill plug, it's just a cap. Now going underneath the vehicle again, we're going to put our 3/8 socket in. Now I like to kind of clear out the hole with a pick to make sure my socket or my ratchet actually can get in there, and you see me wiggling it in to make sure that it's in the hole and you're not going to strip it out. And then it shouldn't take too much effort, but it might be stuck, so give it a good tug and remove the drain bolt. Now this does have a magnet on it, and I'm going to show you cleaning that in a moment. And as you can see, that oil looks like motor oil, honestly. It should be a cherry red, and that's coming out straight brown, so this was definitely contributing to our sticking solenoid problem. Again, as you can see the metal on this magnet, we're going to wipe it off with our cloth, and you'll see just how small the magnet is in comparison, and that is all wear material and clutches. So it's really important to change your transmission fluid, and especially if you start having problems, rather than just doing your transmission right away, try changing the fluid. It's a lot cheaper and it could actually help. Going to replace the crush washer, as this is a consumable part. This one's a little bit big, but I'm just going to center it when I'm tightening it up, and it's been a month since I did this vehicle and there are no leaks from it. So again, going underneath the vehicle, I'm just tightening this up by hand and centering that gasket crush washer so that it's going to crush evenly, and then I'll take my 3/8 ratchet and we'll tighten it up. Now you don't have to go full Hulk on this, just like your oil drain plug, get it tight and give it a little bit more past that, maybe 1/8 of a turn total. So I'm just going to take some paper towel and wipe out the splash tray where some oil had spilled. It'll be easier for me to find if there is a leak next time, and my customers don't want oil in the driveway. I'm using one of these Amsoil fluid pumps to get the transmission oil back in. You could also use a long funnel, which probably would be easier, but this is what I had at the time, so it's what I used. It pumps about 1/10 of a quart per pump, so it took a while. Like I had mentioned at the start of the video, we're using Amsoil's Signature Series Fuel Efficient ATF. It has solved many problems for me with transmissions, so it's pretty much all I use and trust now. If you had a funnel, you could wind it down here, but I'm just trying to put the hose in the ATF fill hole. Again, if you were using the dipstick tube, this would be a little easier, and I think next time I do it, I will definitely be using the dipstick fill instead of this ATF hole. And now I'm just going to pump my 3.5 quarts of fluid into this. I pre-measured 1/2 quart of ATF out just to make it easier for me, but again, 3.5 is all that comes out with the drain and fill. Now that we have it all filled up, we are going to put the ATF cap back on and then tighten it down. Now this does not have to be super tight, but it does have to be tight enough that it won't loosen off. So I would recommend 1/16 to 1/8 of a turn past snug with your hand. Now I'm just checking the dipstick tube to make sure that we have enough oil in it. You'll be able to see the new oil in red and the old oil in brown. So the last thing we're going to do is put the car through the gears. So we'll start the car up and then we'll put it in reverse for a few seconds, neutral, drive, and we'll repeat that just to get the fluid cycling through the torque converter and everything. And that is pretty much it. So again, just cycle it through the gears and you're good to go. Take it for a test drive, make sure it shifts well. My customer reported that there were no more rough shifts in the morning, so I would say that for now, we have freed up the stuck valve and that this transmission should last a lot longer. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.